Hello, Uncle Roddus here again. Feeling rather fluey tonight, which is a real bugger because I've got a concert that I want to go to tomorrow night, so I'm hoping I'm going to be alright. But it's Friday night tonight, Saturday night tomorrow, and hoping that I'm going to be well enough to go and see that. It's, what is it, the 26th of May, so there's only a couple of more days, 3 or 4 more days of New Zealand Music Month. What do we go to this month? The 30th, didn't we? Yeah, so 4 more days of New Zealand Music Month to go, and today I picked up a bunch more New Zealand music. I was in town to go and see the doctor this morning, and I knew there was a record in one of the shops that I'd looked at a week or two ago that I'd seen. Actually, I think it was on Record Store Day from memory. No, it wasn't. No, it was the week after that. Can't remember. Sorry, get back to it. So I went to pick up this record this morning, but the shop wasn't quite open by the time I got there, so I went down to Penny Lane, had a look through there, found a record in there that New Zealand record in there that I snapped up. It's interesting how I can go into a shop like Penny Lane, who has mostly second-hand, with a bit of new stuff, but mostly second-hand, but they have a massive selection. And as much as I love collecting lots of records, it's amazing I can go through so many of their bins and actually not find anything that I really want to buy. I mean, there's lots of things in there that I see that I would like. If I had unlimited funds, I would probably take the chance on or buy. But you know, a lot of the time I go in and it's got to be something that I really couldn't leave there to make a purchase. And today I went through all of their recent bins, all of their New Zealand bins, and I found one record, which is fine for the wallet. In contrast, the other shop I went to is only a part-time record shop. It's actually a surf shop in a lovely boutique mall out in the suburbs, and they have only like half a dozen bins or whatever of records, but man, what a selection. And I could have spent 3 times as much as what I actually spent there. So I went there to buy one record and I came away with about 4. Anyway, this is the record I actually went there to get. This is, you might recall in one of my previous videos for this month, even if I haven't actually uploaded all those videos yet, I picked up the very first Human Instinct record, reissued on Sunbeam Records in 2011. Yep, same with this. This is actually a double LP. The original was a single. So what they've done is they've got actually swap glasses here. So they got the original album on the first record, and then they've got a non-LP single, a single version of one of the album tracks, 2 single versions of 2 of the album tracks, and a live version of, so there's actually 4 tracks on the additional piece of vinyl. Anyway, this is, I think, their best album. This is their wildest album. Stone Guitar, the track Stone Guitar is absolutely amazing, old 70s psych, for those who are not familiar with it. So this is the one I picked up in Penny Lane. This is the first Raw Nerves LP, which I've got. I had the second one I picked up. This is from 2012. This is the second LP that was released on 112 Records here in New Zealand. This is pretty much sort of raw punky sort of stuff, so yeah, pretty cool. This one was on my want list to get. The Flaming Werepigs Hellway to High. This is on Kato Music. So they're a sort of fairly lo-fi record label that I had a look on Discogs, and they have a few releases. This is sort of really fairly low rent release. As you can see, it's just a fold and a half cover. I replaced the crappy paper sleeve that came in it just on black vinyl. This is raw garage rock, I suppose you'd call it. It is punky, but it's not really punk. So I was I was quite pleased to see that, because I actually had that on my want list. Um, in another video that I did recently, I showed a record by a guy called Bob Cadillac, and he'd been in a band called the Black Panthers. Now, I didn't really know anything about the Black Panthers or Bob Cadillac, and the Bob Cadillac album is kind of sort of grungy, hard rocky sort of thing, from 2011. This is again on Kato Records. I don't actually know the year of release of this, but the recording was actually done in 1999. It was a live recording done at a studio, recorded live to 8-track one afternoon, they said. It's a 4-piece. Yeah, so I don't know, I'd heard the name somehow only very recently, so I never really knew anything about them. So I don't know how long they were around, don't really know any of their history, but yeah, this is really good. This is a good hard rock, sort of alternative rock album, and it's really quite impressive actually. So yeah, a pretty cool band that I never heard of and knew anything about. The last one I picked up at that little surf shop is this one. It's another New Zealand one. This is an EP. It's fairly punky. Actually, there was a Invisible Threads. Yeah, there's a little blurg inside it. Yeah, noisy Auckland 3-piece. Invisible Threads have been stirring up the city's DIY punk thing for just under 2 years. I haven't actually listened to this yet, but I'm quite keen to get more New Zealand punk stuff, because of what I've heard has been pretty cool. So yeah, this is like, 6 tracks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, 8 tracks, but being punk, they're probably pretty short. But yeah, I actually haven't played that one yet, so that's to get on too soon. This one I picked up at a gig last night. I went to see a band called The Eastern, who are a Christchurch, Littleton, Christchurch band, Americana. But it's hard to call them Americana when they're from New Zealand, so I guess we could call them alt country, but they call themselves more folky, to be honest, but they're pretty boisterous. Although their record, I've got one of their records, they've been around a while, they've got like 4 or 5 albums out now, but 2 on vinyl. The last 2 have been on vinyl. The one I've got was from 2011, which is a double LP, and so was the last one they released a year or 2 ago. They were a fantastic band, absolutely fantastic live. Yeah, really good. They certainly lived up to their reputation. One of their support acts was this artist called Luckless, and she was a solo young lady with a guitar, and she used some of those loop effects to flesh out her music, and she sang with some pretty good intensity, and some, yeah, did some nice guitar work. Yeah, first time I ever seen her, I knew, no, I don't really know anything about her. I didn't know anything about her, although I had seen that she was playing here, and she'd been mentioned on a couple of gig sites, and she'd actually played a couple of gigs around Christchurch before tonight. She's a really good friend of the Easterns. Anyway, she was the only one who had any vinyl on sale. The Eastern had an older CD, but she had the vinyl, so I grabbed a copy. First listen today. Yeah, it's actually really good. It's a full band. It's kind of like, someone described her as PJ Harvey, like PJ Harvey. I haven't listened to PJ Harvey since the first album Dry came out. I don't know why, because I know that PJ Harvey's pretty cool from what everyone says. But anyway, no, I quite like that. So give it some more listens. Her voice sounds deeper and huskier singing on here than it did live. She's obviously singing a little bit different in what she does on the stage. So that was cool. In the post this week came, I can't get this out of the cover very easily. No, well, look, we'll leave it there. This is the Renderers. This is an album the Renderers did. Now, I showed a Renderers album earlier in the year, a couple of months back. This is their, what's it called again? A Dream of the Sea. I think this is supposed to be their best album. It was originally in 1998, and this has been reissued on Tinsel Ears Records. Yeah. It says Christchurch, New Zealand. Joshua Trees USA, so I'm not sure. I don't know. The render is from Christchurch. I thought they were from up north. Although she might be. She married Brian Crook, who's been in a lot of Christchurch bands, so maybe they are. She actually played here. She's an artist. Mary Rose Cook, she's the singer. Singer. They both play and sing. She's guitarist, and he does some of the rest of it. Yeah, really good band. Just kind of still getting to know them, actually, to be honest. Right, and then I mentioned in my last video, which I haven't uploaded yet, this compilation. So I went to a gig last week for an album release party, which I showed in my previous video, from a band or a group on the Stink Magnetic record label, who into really surf trash rock and roll. This is a compilation that they put out. When did they put this out? I don't know, actually. It's 3 or 4 years ago now, I think. The original New Zealand pressing is pretty much out. You can't get it now. It's got more of an orange from what I've seen on Discogs. There was a copy on Discogs for $100, the only copy, and they actually, I bought the Esoteric Surf Trash album last week from the concert, and they did have a copy of this, but I'd already ordered it. This is a European pressing, Voodoo Rhythm Records. So this arrived. This is a really good compilation. I don't know where they get these pressed, but the vinyl was terrible. It plays okay, but the amount of marks on it was, I mean, and even putting it through the cleaner, they didn't come off. Fortunately, it does play reasonably, really well, although, but it's pretty lo-fi, so, I mean, yeah, that's not too major, thank God. But yeah, I was really disappointed with the amount of crap that was on the record and the amount of marks, and they didn't come off when I cleaned it with the cleaning thing. And I mentioned in an earlier video also that I picked up another record which wasn't a New Zealand music record, and it came with the Wolf Party, and the reason I got it was I wanted to just sort of make the postage a little bit more affordable, and from Europe, so buying another record actually helped. And there was a record on my want list in Discogs, and they happened to have a copy of it for a reasonable price, so my limit on buying records is $50, new or second hand. I don't spend any more than a record. I do not think that buying records is worth spending more than $50. There is a very rare occasion that I will do a few dollars over that, and I will allow a little bit over for postage if I really need to, but yeah, generally. Anyway, so I picked this up for under $50. It's, so what is it? Proyecto A. Now this is French. So French weirdness from 1971. The original album was called Proyecto A, and then they've released the second album on here. This is a double album reissue. The second album was from 1974, Proyecto B, which was never released. The first album's a little bit weirder and proggy, and some of the usual French weirdness from that time period. The second album's actually a little bit more funky, a little bit more American funk. I've only actually had one listen to it because it's New Zealand Music Month, so I'll get back into it. But yeah, it's nice gatefold, it's nice cover, cool cover, so pretty cool. So yeah, that's cool to have that. That adds to my, actually I think it's a Nurse with Wound List record, or band as per se. So I'm always open to checking out bands that are related to the Nurse with Wound List. So that is another haul, and I still have about half a dozen records in the mail for New Zealand Music Month that haven't shown up. They've taken quite a long time to get here, which is interesting. I bought 2 off Discogs from Australia, and the guy's taken 2 weeks to put them in the mail, but I noticed he finally did today, so they should be here in 3 or 4 days. So hopefully by the end of next week the rest of those records will have arrived and I can make another video. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow night I'll be well enough to go to my concert. Unfortunately, the 3 bands that are playing last night, none have actual physical music out on any sort of physical format. It's just Bandcamp and stuff like that, so I won't be buying any records from them, which is a shame because one of them I just saw recently live and I am really impressed with them. So Anyway, that's me again, and we will see you in the next video.